Our story begins in Zombie City, not the best place for a vacation, I know. 5 friends found themselves stuck there.
Meet Phil, the self-proclaimed leader with a plan for everything, most of which were terrible.
There was Agnes, the quirky inventor who could make a weapon out of a toothbrush and dental floss.
Let's not forget Bob, the conspiracy theorist who saw zombies hiding behind every bush. And hey, he wasn't always wrong.
And who could forget the twins, Max and Rex, adrenaline junkies who treated the apocalypse like their own personal playground.
These 5 misfits stumbled upon an old map. Legend had it that it led to a secret train hidden deep within the city. A train meant escape. They found the cave, dust-covered and silent, and there it was. The stuff of legends, a rusty old steam engine. It was magnificent.
Agnes swore she saw a tear in Phil's eye. It was probably just dust.
Let's get this show on the road,
Shouted Rex, always eager for action. One problem, the train needed fuel, and not just any fuel. This bad boy ran on a special coal only found in, you guessed it, the abandoned mines on the other side of Zombie City.
This is just great! We're going to be zombie chow!
They snuck through deserted streets, the silence broken only by the occasional moan. And then they saw them. Zombies. Hundreds of them. Between them and the coal mine.
Think we can take them?
Asked Max, cracking his knuckles.
We need a distraction,
She said, already rummaging through her bag of tricks. Agnes, being a genius and all, whipped up a makeshift zombie attractant. It smelled like a gym sock after a marathon. Revolting, but it worked. The zombies lumbered towards the stench, giving the group just enough time to grab the coal. They sprinted back to the cave, hearts pounding like a drum solo. They piled onto the train, coal shoveled in, steam billowing. With a mighty lurch, they were off.
I can't believe we made it.
Shouted Phil, almost drowning out the sound of the train whistle. But their celebration was short-lived. This was just the beginning of their adventure. Their journey was straight out of a post-apocalyptic theme park ride.
First, a gang of bandits tried to hijack our train.
They underestimated Agnes's potato cannon and Bob's surprisingly accurate aim with a slingshot.
Then came the pack of ravenous wolves drawn by the smell of Bob's beef jerky.
Let's just say Bob was a vegan for a week after that.
And the zombies, oh, they were never far behind.
They seemed to pop up everywhere, from cornfields to abandoned gas stations.
Each encounter left the train more battered, their nerves frayed, but their spirits still oddly intact. Humor, they discovered, was their best weapon against the apocalypse. We need to fortify this thing, Agnes declared one evening, surveying their battered train.
And so began Pimp My Ride Zombie Apocalypse Edition.
The train got an upgrade. Agnes welded scrap metal into a makeshift battering ram on the front.
Max and Rex rigged up flamethrowers fueled by, wait for it, old hairspray cans.
Bob, still traumatized by the wolf incident, insisted on a high-voltage fence around the perimeter.
Their creation was something out of a Mad Max film. It was beautiful. They even gave it a name. The Zomboni, because nothing says, come at me, zombies, like a vehicle named after an ice resurfacing machine. The Zomboni became their sanctuary, their mobile fortress against the undead hordes and whatever else the apocalypse threw at them. One day they picked up a distress signal. It was faint, crackling, but definitely human.
We gotta check it out, insisted Phil, surprising everyone with his sudden compassion.
They followed the signal to a small village. It was eerily quiet, except for the telltale groans. They found a group of survivors holed up in the town hall. They were surrounded by zombies.
Cue the Zomboni's grand entrance!
The battering ram took down the barricade. The flamethrowers turned the undead into crispy critters. The survivors cheered. They joined the group, grateful for the rescue.
Among them was a guy named Dave, who claimed to know the way to a safe haven.
Follow me, he said, pointing to the north. There's a bridge.
The bridge, the final obstacle, it was old, rickety, and swarming with more zombies than they had ever seen.
Are we sure about this? Whimpered Bob, his tinfoil hat crinkling nervously.
But there was no turning back. This was their last chance. They drove the Zomboni onto the bridge, the metal groaning in protest.
The zombies surged forward, a wave of rotting flesh and gnashing teeth.
The flamethrowers roared, keeping them at bay. But there were too many. The bridge swayed precariously, threatening to give way. They were running out of time. And then, disaster struck.